Sebastian for the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I had the pleasure to be joined by...
I'm TNT.
Hi, I'm John from Visualis.
Can you tell us a little bit about your band? And I understand it's a mixed bag of musicians from around the world, is that right?
Yeah.
Sure is. I'll let John answer this.
We started the band about around 2018. It was myself and the bass guitarist Soren. We kind of founded the band at the beginning. And then we went through multiple lineups. And then Roman joined shortly after on guitar. And then after that, we went through multiple drummers. And we found Finn, who was the old drummer who was in our first CP, Sunrise in Black, and he also did the recording of the drums in our new album Rites of Eclipse. And then shortly after that, this man in front of you here joined on vocals, and then went to another level.
You're clearly Irish, John, yeah?
Oh, of course I am, by.
So what nationalities are you all then? It says it's a big...
I'm from India.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ireland.
I'm Irish.
What about the others?
And Zoran, the other co-founder, he's from Serbia.
Right.
And then Roman is from Mexico. Right. And then David is from Poland.
Okay, yeah, so that's a total mixture, yeah. What's the responses been from media and fans to the album that you released at the end of February?
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty great, actually. We did release 2 singles before we released the album to build the anticipation. The first single was Dreamchaser, and we released a music video for that one, and that had I think it's 4,000 views or something now at this point. So it was pretty much well received and shared. And then a month before the album came out, we released another single with an animated video of the artwork of the album that fits into the song Sons of the Sun. And then, once we released the album, end of Feb, we've had a string of shows doing an East Coast tour in Australia. We've completed most of it. We've got one more destination to go next month. But yeah, so far it's been great. We've gone to places and played in places that we haven't played before, and the reception has been, please come back, so that's always nice to hear. And yeah, a lot of merch has been being sold during this tour, which really helps us bands.
So how hard is it to be a band in 2025 to get the attention you deserve when there's so many bands constantly out there?
It is hard when there's a lot of bands, but the scene being a small one, as it is, even though there's a lot of bands, everyone knows everyone, and the metal scene is such that we're all brothers in this and sisters, and everyone is just friends, and they've been sharing our stuff, and every time all the other bands that we have a good rapport with, the moment they have a gig, they call us. So it's all a bit of back and forth. I guess trying to get us a bit known outside of Australia, that's the real challenge, and without the internet, we'd be screwed, and without people who have contacts. So I guess in those instances, having stuff on Spotify and YouTube really pushes us out there. But yeah, it is a whole different ballgame in Australia, because the logistics of just traveling, just to go from one state to another in Europe, you can just drive for an hour and you're in another country. And that really helps spread stuff out. So, we've covered the East Coast, and this is how we always say it in Australia. We're doing an East Coast tour because trying to go to the other side of Australia is going to cost as much as doing the entire East Coast tour.
Yeah, because of course, in the middle of Australia, it's all desert as well, wasn't it? So you got
pretty much, yeah. Like Ireland, you can drive from one end to the other in 4 or 5 hours, but you're still going through New South Wales. You know what I mean? You're not even outside the state at that stage, But yeah, as T said, definitely, it's a really good community, a very close community. It's like a band of brothers and sisters. Everybody helps each other, you know. And then you go to your friends' bands gigs, and they go to your gigs, and then you might create a show together. And then also as well, I suppose, being from different countries, we can share our music back home with our family and friends, and they can share it with their family and friend, and so forth, like that, you know. So that kind of gets the word spread out a bit as well. Like, us, I know from back home in Ireland, everyone I sent it to, we've got a great reception from it. Like,
which is your favourite track on the album today, and why?
I'll let T start.
It is interesting. I would say for me, it's Coma, because that is a track that I brought to the band, and I just loved how, from my standpoint, it was just, I was just singing some melodies, and I'm like, oh, why don't you try doing this? Think a darker tone, you know, not explaining things in a very traditional manner of saying, try this scale, try that scale. I was just going with feels and getting the band to like work with what was in my head. And that was challenging, but very good how the product came out, very satisfied with that. It just showed that, you know, writing a song can happen in any different kind of way, as long as you're able to have that chemistry with your band member. You're able to create stuff. But yeah, look, that's just one song, but I do love all the other tracks. I really like Sons of the Sun. I think that's an epic closer. And, you know, we were able to get Joe Amore to guest on that. So I think that's pretty awesome. I never thought I'd be doing that, but like, you know, that happened, and he was nice enough to say yes. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as he was saying, Sons of the Sun, just to have someone as established as Joe Moore to be on it was amazing. Like, and that's all down to Roman as well. Like, he did all the comments there, he organised that. Like, and he pretty much he wrote that song as well. So that's a lot to do with him. For me, I suppose my favourite would be Heritage, because it relates so much to home, and with that kind of Celtic vibe, and then also the lyrics. It kind of relates. It kind of deals with a lot of the oppression Ireland had from the English and all that, and just like traveling to another country and then try to rebuild a new life and stuff like that, but still not forgetting where you come from. Mm-hmm. But also, yeah, I love all the tracks. I just think it's a real good, diverse collaboration of different mixes, different styles, and that's the beautiful thing about this band. Whatever comes to the table, we'll work on it. Nothing is thrown away. If someone has an idea, we'll try and workshop it in the rehearsal room, as he said when he came with Coma. He came with some melodies, and then we did this. What do you think of this? Does this work? Does this work? And then finally, we just workshop until we get it, and then always adding the little bits and pieces. But yeah, in the collective, it's I'm very proud of it.
It's great, and I mean, you can hear like your influences, like a little bit of indie music in there, a little bit of the Celtic side of it. Yeah, you can hear that on that song more than anything. My favourites are Bay and Metal Oath. I like those two a lot. But now the album's been released, are there plans to release any more singles? And do you already have a second album written?
We don't have a second album written, but funnily, we have started working on new stuff already, because like we played these songs for a while now, and obviously we played it at shows. Then we've done the whole recording, you know, and now we're playing it and we're like, let's make something new, you know, let's just so that we have something fresh to keep, you know. And so there are ideas and that are floating around, but like, yeah. It was literally like last week for practice. We were like, okay, let's actually try and work on something new, and we just started. So, you know, just starting to sow the seeds, but let's see what happens.
Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Like we all bring, and that's the beautiful thing. Everybody contributes. You know, it's not just one songwriter. We all bring stuff to the table. Everyone would bring kind of a structure or bones of a song, and then we bring it into the band room, and then we work on it, and everybody has their own influence, and everybody, you know, so it's a real collective kind of in the songwriting process as well. Like, so yeah, but we're definitely new stuff in the pipeline.
I'll ask you, John, about your Irish background. I mean, Ireland's got a pretty good it's got a pretty good mix of rock and metal bands in Ireland. I interviewed a fair few bands from India, and it seems to be like a thriving metal scene over there. I mean, what first got you into metal then, TNT?
It's very interesting because where I come from in India, maybe now there's some metal, but when I was there, there was no metal. So I literally, you don't get this kind of music at all. I literally had to leave my state, go to another state, and speak with other people, come across other people, and who started sharing like, hey, have you heard this? Have you heard that? And like we used to we didn't have internet or any of that growing up, so it was very difficult to like get music and find people who are into English music, let alone heavier kind of English music. So it was a big, I remember spending my allowance going to the internet cafe, just to download one song. And I couldn't afford to download the whole album or whatever, that's just how things were. And then as I traveled and as I moved to uni and stuff like that, met a lot of people. And then, they started sharing stuff. And I slowly started once I discovered metal, I would say very late, when I was probably 17, 18, really. Right. Or from 15 onwards, I started listening, but really hit it when I was 18. So that's very late, compared to other people who wear it, say it loud and proud, oh yeah, no, I was 8 when I first, But look, I used to always sing. I used to always love singing, and I used to sing different styles before I discovered metal music. And I guess metal music really resonated. The kind of musicianship, what I was going through life, all that stuff really resonated in my journey, and it still resonates in my journey in life. And I guess that's where all the passion and the force comes from. Yeah,
that's really cool. So going back to the album, did you guys have a release party on release day, and did you do any live streams or plan to do live streams in the future?
As I said, no, we didn't do any live streams or anything like that. It was no, we didn't. We didn't.
No one would be awake during Australia time. Let's put it that way.
Can you give us a little bit of insight about the album artwork, as it's really visually stunning? Is it AI?
For the artwork? No. So please, John.
Yeah, that was actually I'm really proud to say this as well. It was actually one of the lads I knew back home. His name is Colin Bulger. Actually, years ago, I used to be in metal bands back home in Ireland and stuff, and he used to be in metal bands. He used to collaborate, and we used to catch up. And then I just I knew he was doing art as well, and the boys were looking for art. And one thing we did not want is AI. We just wanted original artwork, original sketches. We just want, especially because, like I said, T is an architect and we're man's graphic designers, so very in depth in that line of things. So, but we got Colin on board. T did a rough sketch and then sent it off to Colin, and then he just worked his magic. But we're very, very, very proud of the artwork, and I'm very happy to say that is an Irish artist as well.
We were very, very keen to get original art, and we just got tired of AI being everywhere. Yeah. And I sit and draw. I do a lot of sketches when I'm bored in my line of work. So we had this idea, and we discussed as a band, and then I came up with a base sketch of what we want, just so we had something that we can discuss, like a sounding board. And I sent it to Colin, and then I managed the comms. It did take a while. It did take a proper a month and a half, 2 months. Also because he's busy and stuff, but just trying to organize, and I think that's a big challenge. So I was getting the artwork done by Colin, who is from Ireland. I was getting the animated music video done by someone else in Italy. We were getting the mastering done by someone in Mexico. So just managing all those columns. While sitting in Australia, again, none of this would have been possible if you don't have the internet, and this is where we use it, but just not to go on a tangent, but no AI, original artwork.
That's good stuff. What can we expect from your shows? And when you do play live, do you ever do live streams for your fans around the world, such as in Ireland, for instance?
No, it's something that we never thought about, to be honest with you. You know,
I mean, there was a venue in the mosh pit that has that option. It's not something that we have. It's not something that Visualis has done, but like I'm in another band, and with my other band, we've done the live stream, and because of that, my sister and family who lives in London was able to see that live.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that was with Ethereal Realm, which is the other band.
Cool. So what's the band then? What are they called?
Ethereal Realm.
Whoa, that is a tough one. Oh my God! All right.
Go on, John.
I got to think about this one, man. This is one of well, my favorite band anyway is Paradise Lost.
Oh yeah, Draconian Time.
Draconian Time's awesome. But for me, I think Shades of God is an amazing album. You know, I think that was when they really kind of turned that corner and tried something new and with the more clean vocals and stuff, and it just influenced a whole generation, really. You know, I know people say Icon, Draconian Times, and everything like that, but for me, Shades of God, number one. I suppose, of course, you have to maybe say, like, for me, when I got into metal, like Metallica was the first kind of heavy band I got into, like, and Ride the Lightning. I thought that was like, I know a lot of people say Massive Puppets, but I thought Ride the Lightning was an amazing album as well. Definitely influenced me a lot in my guitar playing when I was younger. Especially when they Fade to Black, with that song, that just kind of changed the dynamic as well. You know, it's one of my favorites. And then last album, this is a very tough question. I suppose it'll have to be something from Maiden, anyway. The whole catalogue. I'm just trying to think of one, man. To be honest with you,
It's hard to pick one, I guess. There,
it's like Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. You know, that was just an amazing album. The production, everything, just changing that as well. And it's a very hard question. Yeah, but just out of this quick time frame, I just say those three albums. But I have multiple others. But I'll give you that.
Of course.
And like I said, for me, basically trying to like get an entire album was impossible in my upbringing. I guess I'm gonna say, like, I think I was like 15, like when a friend of mine who I went to visit back in the Middle East, because I was born there, I went to visit, and you know, he gifted me a cassette of Linkin Park's Meteora, you know,
Right.
and I've never heard of the band or anything at that point. And I said, "What is this?" And he was like, "Oh, dude, I think you would like this." You know, it just had this, you know. And I listened to it, and I immediately went and bought Hybrid Theory. And I think those two, I always think it as a thing together. Like, I think those two are really, really stellar albums. And Aventasias, the first two metal operas, like that was my introduction to power metal, and like that was a big trajectory for me in terms of my singing and vocal styles. And I also really, really like Avenged Sevenfold's City of Evil album with the Rev and Sinister Gates and everyone. And but like John said, everyone has Metallica and Maiden, you know, and I'm just trying not to pick them, you know, because I feel like, you know, let's talk about other bands as well.
Yeah, there's so many bands.
I am very fascinated by Rob Halford, and he's incredible. Like at his age, singing those notes, like people in their 20s can't do that. So if I was able to even just collaborate and sing with him on something, he definitely is one of them. Who else? Who else? And is this when you say collab, like, is it like I do the vocal collabs and John does the guitar collabs, or like it can be anything?
Anything. You just walk into a recording studio and they're there ready.
These are all tough ones. It's hard when you say pick one or pick three.
I know.
I would really love to work with Aryan Van Lucassen. I'm a massive fan of that band, and what he does is incredible. I actually traveled to the Netherlands 2 years ago to actually witness them play live, and that was on my bucket list. And I'm hopefully going this year for the 30th anniversary as well. But yeah, that was incredible. And also, just if I can like collaborate with Danny Carey from Tool, like the guy is he's possessed. He's one of the greats, I'd say.
For me, like, massive influence for me was Randy Rhoads. Like, I think he was just he'd just taken way too young, but influenced so many, because he really brought that neoclassical style into guitar playing. And as a guitarist, like, for me, he's like one of the best, definitely. Like, Peter Tagrin, I think he's an awesome musician as well, like from Hypocrisy, Pain, and so many other. He produces so many bands as well. He's just a mastermind. And of course, Gregor McIntosh of Paradise Lost. He's like, he'd be my biggest, like one of my biggest inspiration in songwriting as well. Like, it's definitely to jam with him would be amazing. Yeah.
Johnny loves Paradise Lost so much that he's got it on his skin, right? Like,
have you? Yeah. Yes. Which essential item do you always take on tour with you?
My wife.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Essential items for me. I don't really have that much gear, so
nice.
And we haven't really done like a whole. We're going on tour for a week kind of thing, But like, if I were to do something like that in Europe or somewhere where I'm away from home, I'd carry my portable gaming device, because I love doing that. Like, it helps me rest, and I'm just concentrating on the games. Because if I don't have something to like see, I'm just like always talking and always using my voice, which I should rest. But that's what experience and life has kind of taught me. But yeah, that's I would say.
Okay.
So, I suppose as T said, like if we never did like a full, we never went away for a month or something. It's always like here, because in Australia we're all working as well. It's not feasible for us to do like take off a week or 2 weeks and go, because we all got families and stuff like that as well. Like, so it's not it wouldn't be feasible. So that's why we have to like maybe do one gig one weekend and another gig another weekend, or maybe a bit in between. But if I had to do it like that, it would be my guitar, obviously, to constantly continue writing all the time or come up with ideas, because you're always on the road. You'll always have the guitar anyway, but maybe just acoustic guitar even to get away from the electric and just have something that you can carry around with you all the time,
If there was a made-up song about your personality, what would it be called?
Rockin' Irish.
Rockin' Irish. I'd say, I don't know, Eccentric Rage.
Okay. Do you prefer vinyl or digital, and is the album going to be released on vinyl? Asking that.
We have it digital. We also have it on CD.
Right.
We don't have it on vinyl yet.
Not yet.
That is something I have been looking into, because I'm into collecting vinyl, and it would be awesome to have my own band vinyl. But it is quite an expensive process. and most bands in Australia who are actually signed, they're the ones who actually are able to bring the vinyl out.
Right.
Yeah, it is a bit of a fair game, because what I've heard is there's not enough vinyl pressing places in Australia, and that's what drives up the cost as well. So we can get it done in Europe, but it's the shipping to Australia that's like a massive killer.
Yeah.
So the only way to do it would be like, we get someone to do it there, and then we go to Europe and we bring back all the vinyl.
Or move to Europe.
As a band.
Yeah, but did we have on digital, on CD, and all our merchandise and stuff is on Bandcamp anyway. So if you want, you could check it out there. Like,
excellent. Can you tell us why we should check out your band?
If you like different styles of metal, you will definitely find that in our catalog. Because this is like based on feedback that people say, like, if I go in with one song and I think that's going to set the tone for the entire album, then you're wrong, because the next song is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
And the next song is going to have a different element. So I think that's something that, as a collective, like John said, we bring that to the table. And, while many places or for many bands, we see sometimes that can be a make or break. For us, it's been actually good, and people have actually liked that diversity, and say that, we don't know what's next. So, leaving them with that kind of like a surprise or, some kind of that kind of element, it's definitely something that we strive for.
Visualis, Rites to Eclipse, out now.